You're listening to the Urban Sports and Bowie TV Baltimore Ravens recap show. I'm Wole. I'm joined by my co-host, Bowie TV's Ravens beat reporter, Carita Parks. I see you doing the deuces. I see you. All right. What's good, Carita? What's going on? What's good with
you?
What's good with you? What's going on?
Just trying to process this game on Sunday, but otherwise life is good. Can't complain.
That's what I'm talking about. I like to hear that. I like to hear that life is good. Life wasn't good last Sunday, though, for the Baltimore Ravens. They fell short to their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 18-16. Before we talk about that game, let's knock off some logistics. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tune in iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports and Bowie TV YouTube channels. This recap is being streamed on both channels as well. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports and hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, I mentioned it briefly, but it was a disappointing Sunday for the Baltimore Ravens. Up in Pittsburgh, the Ravens fell to their rivals, the Steelers 18-16. Carita, your overall thoughts on the game?
Well, what stands out pretty obviously, Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals. One is bad enough, but 2 in a game that came down to nothing but field goals. I mean, that was definitely tough when you look back at the entire game. But the Steelers clearly know how to rattle the Ravens.
Gotcha.
I mean, winning 8 out of the last 9 matchups.
Yeah.
And to me, the Ravens, at least offensively, did not look at all like themselves. I said it kind of reminded me of the AFC Championship game where it was just like, what am I looking at? Who am I looking at? This is not the team that's been putting up 40. And I understand you make like those battles against the Steelers. I saw the scores today of those last 9 matchups, and they all come down. Like, I don't think any of them were over 20 points. Like, they all are low scoring, tight games. So I understand you might not be putting up 40 points against the Steelers, but to just look completely off your game, to me, just wasn't an acceptable performance against a division rival. You couldn't afford to lose another divisional game.
True.
And so, in my opinion, with the Steelers, that being their first divisional matchup, like the Ravens could have definitely made a statement.
Yeah.
And they came up short.
Yes, it's tough, right? Because you're playing against a good Steelers team. And I just feel like.
And a good Steelers defense, to their credit, you know?
Yeah, and
defensively though, way better performance.
Yeah, true.
Way better performance. I mean, you've been talking about the defense for weeks, the secondary in particular. But this game was not on them.
Yes. It's crazy, right? When we talked about this on the pregame, and we both said that I don't think the Steelers' offense is going to be enough. The Steelers' offense wouldn't be able to score with the Ravens' offense, right? Because I felt like Russ is better. Russ is better than what they had prior, but they're still not like good enough to, in my opinion, at the time to score with the Ravens. But we both said though, what would kind of keep the Steelers around would be turnovers and whatnot, and that's what kind of it started off early, right?
In penalties, though.
In penalties, right? And they're like the Ravens have been like this whole season, like the most penalized team, I believe.
They're still the most penalized team in the league. On Sunday, they had 12 penalties, and I believe it was for 80-something yards. And those penalties, most of them, for what I recall, were on the offense, which has been a pattern this season.
Right.
Offensive penalties, and they've come on drives where there has been some momentum, and it takes all the momentum away.
Yeah, I just feel like, to your point, in this game, I just don't know. Like the Ravens didn't play the cleanest game, right? I think that's the most annoying thing about that game is that they didn't play a clean game. They just got beat they just got beat by the better team, right? And not to say Pittsburgh.
I think getting beat is one thing,
Yeah.
but looking so uncharacteristic of yourself is another.
You agree? No, I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if a team comes out and just beats you, right? And it's hard to beat a good team on the road, right? So that's one thing out for Raven fans. I want them to know too. At the same time, like you lost to the Steelers in Pittsburgh. It's not like you lost this game in Baltimore. You lost this game in Pittsburgh. So you lost the game on the road in a hostile environment. So that can happen, and you were in the game, right? But it's but when you're on the road, to your point, you got to be disciplined. You got to be smooth. So having that amount of penalties isn't a good look. Turning the ball over in the first 30 seconds or some odd seconds of the game isn't a good look. You know what I mean? It's to a point where like you're inviting this team to say, you know what, hey, beat us. Like you're inviting, hey, beat us. You know what I mean? And with all that being said and done, you still have an opportunity to win this football game.
Yes, you're right. With all the mistakes, there was still an opportunity to win the football game. And it's kind of funny you say that because I also, while I was before the show, I was, doing things around the house, but I wanted to see the end of that game again. Yeah. And so I was looking at that 2-point conversion try. And even that I don't even know if I get it, but I don't even know if I like the call, if I'm being honest. And then no one touched Joey Porter Jr. No one touched him. It just looked sloppy. It just looked sloppy to me.
I hate that play. I don't even know.
Because when I saw it the first day, I had people around me. So, I like to watch the games sometimes, in the peace and quiet of
that's how I like my games. That's me.
Just because there's things you inevitably miss, right? Yeah. But looking back at that 2-point conversion, I did not like the play call.
I thought it was a horrible play call. I thought it was limited. I thought that if you're going to run Lamar, you're going to run Lamar. I hate if you're going to give an option to pass the football, I hate when you run him out towards the boundary because you limit who he can throw the ball to. So it's either, to me, it's a stone cold Lamar running, and I didn't like what I didn't like, and if my memory serves me correctly, Derrick Henry wasn't on the field in that play, right? I don't think he wasn't. It was Justice Hill, right? If anything, I'm running read out, and this is my opinion, because you have two of the most dynamic runners in your backfield. I'm letting them choose between Lamar. If I'm going to run it, I'm letting you choose between Lamar and Derrick Henry. I will read option that play. It's either I fake it to Derrick Henry, and I'm going off with Lamar running it, or I'm giving the ball to Derrick Henry. I'm putting the ball in my two best players' hands and letting us go. That's how I would do it. And I said, if you need a 2-point conversion, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, and if anything, to your point, just having Derrick Henry on the field, it could have still been any other play to me. But having him on the field, it's like his presence just makes the defense have to think about who are they giving this ball. Is it going to be Derrick Henry? Is it going to be Lamar? It just makes them think more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's what bothered me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That pissed me all the way off.
I mean, I don't even think because they had Tylan Wallace out there. They had Nelson Aguilar out there. Was Zay Flowers out there?
I think Zay scored the touchdown. He should have been out there. I can't remember. He should have been out there.
He was out there on that 2-point conversion. I don't recall. Bateman wasn't out there. Nobody that was, like you said, in that situation with the game.
Yeah.
That game and the way it had been going, all the best players should have been out there.
Yeah, I just feel especially we talk about it. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Who are your MVP? Arguably, the Ravens have two the number 1 and number 2 MVP candidates at the time, right? That's what we had that discussion.
Yes.
So you're not gonna have both of them out there? You're gonna have one, especially in short yardage. This is my thing. To your point, you gotta at least have the defense think, right? I know I'm a defensive coordinator, and they need to make 2 yards, right? A 2-point conversion is happening at the 2-yard line. I am saying, please don't have Derrick Henry out there. If I'm defensive coordinator, don't have him out there. Him not being out there, I'm happy. Thank you. And no, this is no shade on Justice Hill. Justice Hill's a great a great number 2 running back. So ain't no shade on Justice Hill. But you telling me Derrick Henry ain't gonna be out there? I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to your point, like that's one of the first thing I remember when they came out of huddle, I was like, all right, I don't see Derrick Henry out there. Like, what's happening? I don't see 22. Like, what's happening here?
You know, obviously Coach Harbaugh was asked about that more than once.
Okay.
He was asked after the game.
Okay.
Then he was asked Monday in his press conference that he has after, like, you know, after the next day after the game. And his response in both situations was basically that they have certain packages for 2-point conversions.
Okay.
And there's personnel assigned for those packages.
Okay.
And that essentially the play they chose was not, Derrick Henry wasn't a part of those packages. He said he's a great player, but he's out there situationally, and not every guy is always on the field.
Okay.
So that was kind of the gist of his answer. I'm also trying to, there was something else that was important. Now thinking back, I'm not sure what he was trying to say with this, because I probably I must have missed the entire context.
Okay.
But in this same question about Derrick Henry, he mentioned something about Pittsburgh calling a timeout during the 2-point conversion. But then that was one of the reasons I wanted to look at the 2-point conversion again, because I was like, well, was Derrick out there before the time? Was Derrick Henry before the timeout? Right. But he wasn't. He was never out there. So I wasn't sure what the correlation was as it relates to the timeout.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, I can say this because, you know, I'm different. I love coaches talk, man. I just do. I just love coaches talk. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm never gonna tell you, like,
yeah, because at the end of the day, like, and I'm glad you're not throwing your dude under the bus. So I'll give him credit with that. Because at the end of the day, if I have Derrick Henry, if I have Derrick Henry, I have Christian McCaffrey, I have all the top running, any other, Saquon Barkley, right? These dudes, Joe Mixon. We saw Joe Mixon on Monday night. I have any of these dudes, I ain't not going to have them on the football field, especially when I need a 2-point conversion. That's like saying in 31, I got a package for my secondary running back, not my number 1 dude.
I can never guess.
I can't stand it. I just can't.
I can never guess coaching decisions. Like, it reminds me of when they didn't let Marshawn Lynch run.
There you go. So you got my point. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
In the Super Bowl, and the ball got intercepted.
That's all I'm saying. So you get what I'm talking about. That's a way better comparison. That's like Marshawn, exactly. You got Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna let Russ throw a slant, and that's intercepted. So you know what I mean?
Sometimes I just feel like I don't know what happens. And that's why I said it reminds me so much of the Kansas City game. I just don't know what happens in the coaching booth.
Got you.
In these games when their like back is against the wall, or they're playing like certain teams, a Kansas City, clearly the Steelers. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know if people are trying to do too much or overthinking or what it is, but it's definitely not quite the same, especially with Todd Monken last week saying that he felt like they should have beat the Steelers last year, because what happened last year was just a lot of drops and missed opportunities. It was a different kind of loss. So I'm thinking, you know, we're going to come out with like everything blazing.
Yep.
But and scratch the fumble. I mean, even just the play calls in the beginning didn't feel like I'm coming out blazing.
Do you think they were timid?
I mean, it's hard to tell because that fumble happened so.
Yeah, I know. It changes everything
quickly. But it was 2 run plays. But, you know, I won't say they were timid, because clearly they were setting the tone of like running the football.
Yeah.
Is what they do best. However, yeah, that fumble just changed the trajectory, because of the fact that when we see teams stop Derrick Henry, they feel like they Superman or whatever, right? Sure. So for him to fumble, or for them to cause a fumble, like the terrible towels was going crazy.
Yeah.
So, especially with them being in Pittsburgh, that just, I feel like, gave the fans and the Steelers that feeling of like, all right, we got this. They didn't get a touchdown out of it, but they did get 3 points.
Yeah. That's what, yeah. So, I guess I want to go back to something you said that made sense. And a lot of stuff you have made sense. So let me clear that up too as well. But, but you said that the penalties, losing this game, comes down to penalties, and also we just talked about Derrick Henry's like fumble. What do you feel like? Really, do you feel like it started like this? The way they started playing impacted them because of, say, Derrick Henry's fumble in that first quarter, or more of like the penalties or whatnot?
You mean when you say the way
like pretty much have this team playing on their heels? I guess that way. I guess I'll put it that way.
The fumble was not good. A fumble is never good. Facts. But because they only got 3 points out of it, I feel like the Ravens really still had an opportunity. And quite frankly, they had a lot of opportunities because the Steelers, I can't remember that game. They only scored 19, 18. No, they only scored 18 points.
18, yeah, 18.
So I think if the Ravens executed better, they still were in that game despite the turnover.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, that next play after the Steelers got the 3 points, I believe that was the first field goal Justin Tucker missed.
Yeah.
So even just making that field goal, like, they still would have been in the game. But also when Justin Tucker misses, so Derrick Henry fumbles.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker misses. If you're the Steelers, you're like, we got them.
We got this. Yeah, we in the bag.
We'll go. Yeah. Derrick Henry fumbled. Like, 2 of the best players are not on their game. Like, if I'm the Steelers, I'm like, we got this. You know what I mean? So I don't think the fumble in itself was a deal breaker.
Got you.
But I think it was just but that didn't help. And then it was a series of different things that occurred that just.
I want to get into what you just talked about, Justin Tucker, man. What's up with him, man? He missed what? He missed like 2 minutes, just 2 kicks, or was it 3?
2.
2 kicks, yeah, 2 kicks. Mm-hmm. What's up? What's going on with Justin, man? Like, this is not the Justin Tucker that Raven fans know.
It's not, but I was talking about this earlier today.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is I had no concerns about Justin Tucker coming into this season because, in OTAs and training camp, we see Justin Tucker practicing kicks. We see him 60 yards out, practicing kicks and making those kicks.
Yeah.
And so there was nothing I saw in the offseason that made me feel like Justin Tucker would be having this issue during the season. So I'm not quite, and obviously in none of the conversations or feedback or questions that we've asked Justin Tucker or Coach Harbaugh have I really picked up, besides them saying it's a technique thing. If it was technique, I feel like this is are we in week 12 now? This is week 12.
We are in,
right?
I think I can know this. We're approaching week 12. We're going into week 12.
Okay, so we're going into week 12.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was a technique thing by week 12, that would have been fixed.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, some people can think maybe it's age, and maybe it is, but at the same time, seeing him make kicks in the offseason and it's not translating to the regular season, I don't think it's that, because he was doing it. So something is definitely off, but I still feel like it should be fixed by now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's mental. I don't even think it's like,
because technique at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you make those tweaks. So
I think it starts with missing a kick that you typically make, right? And then you start to doubt yourself a little bit.
But I feel like he's almost missed the kick. Oh gosh, I don't want to talk out of pocket.
No. You
feel like almost, not every game, but almost every game. I feel like he has missed a kick.
Yeah, it seems like he's just not like. I feel like his misses are just different because he's been like so perfect. I think that's it.
I mean, that's definitely what it is. So I
Yeah.
wasn't panicked about it, and I'm still not panicked.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but let's say I was not extremely concerned because I'm like, this is Justin Tucker. He's a GOAT. He'll get it together. But when he missed those 2 kicks again in the Steelers game, I was like, okay, it might be time to.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. That's why I asked you this.
It might be time to figure out what's going on because something's definitely going on at this point.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. I was like, let me ask Carita this thing. I saw your tweet. You were like, maybe it's time to have that discussion. I was like,
maybe time to have that discussion because
but I think he's.
I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to give up on you that easy.
Of course not. Of course.
And I still haven't given up on him. But what I'm saying is, there's clearly an issue at this point.
Yeah, he made a big kick towards the end. I think it was like a 50-yarder, 50+ yarder, which I feel like that shows a lot of moxie. You miss some shots you typically make, and they put you out there for a 50-yard, and if some pressure, you hit that thing clean.
Put out there though.
I mean, true, but you can go for it. You know what I mean? Like he could have punted for real. Like Coach Harbaugh could have punted it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things, but he's still the way he went out there and made the kick. It wasn't.
You have to think for years. Yeah. He's been coming through for them.
Yeah.
Now, I think that if last season he was doing this, and then now this season he was doing it, then I think it's a problem. But I will say, I felt like Coach Harbaugh was the most direct I've heard him be, because most of the time I ask about Justin Tucker, he'll say, it's a technique thing, But this time he straight up said he's got to make those kicks.
Okay.
And he still showed belief in him. He's like, I'm confident he'll do it. But I still felt like he was more direct this time around. Well, he was direct about a lot of stuff right after the game because he clearly wasn't happy.
No, he should have been direct about putting Derrick Henry back out there on that two. He could have been direct there too. Like, hey, do you mean I should have had you out there, Derrick? I apologize. That's what I like. I like stuff like that. Yeah. And I like John. I like John Harbaugh, but I'm just saying.
I like John Harbaugh too.
Yeah, I like John. So I'm talking about Derrick Henry. We talk about this all the time, Carita. This Ravens team is a better team. It seems like they would definitely win football games, but Derrick Henry is getting 20 carries, 20+ carries. I don't care how effective he is at it, but usually when he gets 20 carries, he's effective. And if you look at his stats, his stat line, Henry had 13 carries, 65 yards, which if you average it out, that's 5 yards a carry, which is amazing in the NFL. Do you feel like this team didn't involve Derrick Henry enough in this game against the Steelers?
Well, when we talk about statistically, yes, because when he has 20+ carries, it does translate to a win. But on the flip side, in watching that game, the fact of the matter is the Steelers defense was doing a good job stopping Derrick Henry as well. Right. So I just think because of the way the game was going, they were just trying to find any kind of momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do think that factored into why he didn't get as many carries. It's just like they were just in a situation where they were trying to make something happen.
Okay.
And I think that is when they get away from the run, is when they feel like they're in situations where they have to make something happen because they're behind or the game isn't going their way. So that's my analysis.
No, you're right. And I feel like that what you're talking about. I feel like they panic when, like you said, like they're behind. So they panic, so we got to get it all back and catch up. Knowing this game was still like in doubt, it was still there. Everything was still close. The Steelers just kicking field goals, and like, you can't sometimes. If you may hit Derrick Henry, you may get a loss, right? Maybe a loss. It's a couple of yards. But as we've seen, Derrick Henry can just pop one. Like that loss can go for like 80. The next can go for like 80 or go for 60. You know what I mean? It's just like, and in this game, it just seems like, again, 5 yards a carry is that means typically if he had got 20 carries, that's well over 100 yards, right? So it's just like, And again, it goes back to that fine line you have to play, right? You got Lamar, so you're like, all right, dude, my man been balling, so I gotta at least take a maybe Lamar can get us there quicker. You know what I'm saying? Like he doing it.
Nobody
So
was really getting the juice. Nobody really had
I
them.
know, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm like, it gets so sometimes you may get back to that old school Ravens type of game where you got to say, all right, man, we got to ground and pound this thing, you know, and let's go and let's rock with Derrick Henry, because the Steelers weren't. I mean, it wasn't like Derrick Henry was averaging 3 yards a carry or anything like that. Derrick Henry was averaging 5. Okay, my man, we got a comment on YouTube. My man, attitude pop 3 said, Derrick Henry is a back that gets stronger each quarter. He wears defenses down, and then he will hit you with that long run. So I don't know why people don't understand that. No, I agree. No, he definitely does.
I think we absolutely understand.
We do understand that. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think he's talking about us. I think he may be talking about other fans, though.
Yeah.
So I do think that to a point where that's what we're talking about. Basically, like you give him carries, he's gonna wear you down. Like basically, that's what I'm saying. Like so it's just like I just feel like sometimes coaches in general get too cute. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they got there here in this situation, but I think sometimes they do. Because I just feel like when you got a beast like Derrick Henry, sometimes you got to run that man.
You know, we talked about it in the pregame.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely thought coming into this game that
you
he
said
would
this.
be a different.
You said that. I know.
Because I'm like, yes, they played the Ravens before, but they never played the Ravens with Derrick Henry, and it just didn't seem to pan out that way.
Yeah, it didn't. You know what?
You got hopes because about over under.
No, let me give you your flowers. Let me keep the bean. If y'all listen to the pregame, my girl Carita did say this. Like she said, this should be a Derrick Henry game. So I'm gonna let y'all know already. So before anything, she was like, this should be a Derrick Henry game. She didn't say this should be a Lamar game. She said this should be a Derrick Henry game. So I'm just gonna tell y'all coaches, real talk. Y'all listen. Y'all should have listened to Carita. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. Just saying. You should listen to Carita. All right, so you
would have been mad because you know he fumbled, so he might have broke out an 80-yard run at some point.
Yo, I'm sure. I mean, that's probably I'm sure he was super mad. He would have got an 80-yard run. He would have ran with true purpose throughout the game because of that fumble. And to your point, it only gave up 3 points though, so it wasn't like it could have been much worse. But the defense held on and had his back. All right, so we speak of like Lamar. We talk about like we go on the flip side. Lamar's been the dynamic the whole year, but the Steelers tend to look like they had him kind of bottled up a little bit. Other than that last drive, where he was a dog on that last drive. But did the Steelers do anything special to kind of take Lamar out of it? To you,
I just feel like they, from what I could tell, it really looked like they took away his options. A lot of his options, because you know he wasn't really able to get the ball out to many. You know, it did seem like any of his targets were open a lot. There, you know, Derrick Henry was like making some progress, and then they weren't allowing Lamar to really take advantage of them with his legs.
Yeah.
So I just feel like their defense just had a good game plan. Not just for Lamar, but the entire offense.
No, I agree. I feel like they're still a good defense.
And I got to go back. This is one thing I didn't get a chance to reevaluate was the offensive line play. I'm not sure, and this is just because I haven't had a chance to reevaluate. I don't know if they were getting ran over or not by the Steelers defense, which also wouldn't give Lamar a lot of time to do that. So it did seem like he was in situations where he wasn't comfortable. Like they put him in a lot of situations where he wasn't comfortable or didn't have time.
It was a little bit of both. I think Lamar had time at time. All right, I think it's a little bit of both with the secondary. I think Lamar had time, but folks weren't getting open, so he was trying to stall time.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like I think it didn't seem like folks were getting open.
To your point, I don't think the line was bad. I think Lamar was trying to you can block TJ Watt and company for so long. So like he was trying to stall time to get people open, and that's what it was. It just seemed like folks weren't getting open.
It did.
You know what I mean?
Well, just the way, I mean, to your point, on those times he was holding on to the ball. It's like looking downfield, trying to find somebody. It just seemed like nobody was ever open. And then he didn't have time to really do anything at that point, like just even with his legs.
Yeah, and I don't want to throw shade on no players saying they weren't open because I don't watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not watching no freaking film and seeing who was open down the field. I don't have time for that crap. So like, I'm not.
They weren't really showing,
Yeah, exactly. So I can't tell you. I don't got the.
But that is what I was gathering.
Yeah.
Just because he's not going to just stand there, he's not going to.
No, I agree with you. I agree.
Be in the pocket holding the ball like that. There were times where it just looked like it was perceived that guys weren't getting open.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting open quick enough.
Yeah, I would say if I had to, like, my assumption would be like he ain't see nobody open. My man Pop also said John Harbaugh, when he goes against Tomlin or Andy Reid, he gets out coached and panics and will have the dumb look on his face. Go ahead. On sideline playoffs as well, and he panics and watches his team implode. I won't say.
Is it just him though? Because he is the final decision maker.
All right, so
there's coordinators who are calling plays and making decisions, and there's other decision makers. So maybe as a whole, they're just not all.
I think you're right. I think you're right. To me, you're right. He's not calling a 2-point conversion play. That's the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I would say, because he's the coach, he's the head coach, is if he wants, and I know I'm gonna keep harping on it, if he wants Derrick Henry out there, you want Derrick Henry out there.
He could have made. But then it's as a coach, right? He probably, maybe he was wondering that, I don't know. But at the same time, you're probably trusting your coordinator to draw up and make the right play, make the right adjustments,
No, this is true. Oh, my man. All right, attitude Pop. You got a lot going on. Okay, I'm glad you tuned in, though. I appreciate you, man. You said, Lamar had some lanes to take off. I don't know why, but when he plays the Steelers or the Chiefs, he looks scared to run, especially test. I mean, last year in the AFC Championship, he did. I mean, he did week 1 against the Chiefs, but I don't know what it is. It is. I'll say this much about Lamar. I feel like to keep it a buck, throughout this season, Lamar's been trying to stay in the pocket more, and I've liked it, to be honest with you. So I feel like throughout this season, he's been kind of a guy who's tried to be in the pocket and dice things up. It's the maturation process of Lamar Jackson. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he did. I don't know. It looked like he had running lanes, but again, I didn't watch like all 40, like all 32, whatever, the cut up film, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if there was a spy on him, because I know Patrick Queen was spying him a couple of times. Lenny Beeson, what's up, Lenny? Says TM. It's Tom Monk. Yeah, Tom Monk as the OC, just a little too cute. With the play calling sometimes at the wrong time in the game. I agree. That's what I felt like on that 2-point conversion. I thought he was too cute. I agree with you, man. Appreciate you, man. But I feel like Lamar's grown as a passer, so I kind of know. I don't like to get into like he has to run. I feel like Lamar shows you enough where he can throw the football from the pocket. So let's go into something real quick. We talk about this Deontay Johnson, man. They traded for him, man, and he's still in the witness protection program. He was only targeted twice. He had no catches. I'm starting to think, personally, I'm gonna give you my opinion. I'm starting to think it's a waste of a trade, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Is like, do you feel like this has been a waste of a trade so far?
Well, when they traded for him, I said I feel like he's more of a depth piece.
You did say that. You did say
rotational player.
Yeah.
I know that that's not the caliber of wide receiver he is, but when they traded for him, I was kind of like, I don't see them replacing, Bateman or Zay Flowers. They hadn't played. They weren't playing in a way that would make sense. Yep. I felt like if anybody snaps, he would take some of would-be Nelson Aguilar, but it doesn't necessarily look like that either. Mm-hmm. And then what is even more interesting to me, though, that this is more interesting to me, is I still feel like I'm seeing more Tylan Wallace all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They traded for Deontay Johnson. So I guess he's just insurance. At this point, I feel like he's just insurance. But
Geico? You call him Geico?
That's what it's looking like. looking real Geico-ish right now.
Geico-ish.
Looking real Geico-ish right now. So, but even that was a trade where I felt like it was going to be difficult to know how he would fit into that wide receiver group because of kind of like that whole, they talked about it this week. If it's broke, don't fix it, but you still want to give somebody opportunities that you traded for. Now, I will say this. He had 2 targets.
He did, yeah.
0 catches. The first game, and I would have to go back and look at this closer too. I don't know if those were catchable. Yeah. No, one think I recall Lamar overthrew him. If I remember.
You talking about against the Steelers?
Yeah, one.
Yeah, he overthrew him. But also. He didn't give Lamar enough space to kind of to complete that pass too. Like he was already kind of bordering out of bounds. He didn't kind of, in terms of running his football route, he was too close to the sideline. To put it that way, he was too close to the sideline.
Well, I also just wonder with him, because even though he hasn't been in a lot, he's kind of averaging around 2 or 3 targets.
Yeah.
These past 2 games, but I don't feel like he's taking advantage of the opportunities that he has gotten, right? Like Tyler Wallace don't get a lot of opportunities either, but he's making those catches.
Yeah.
He's either making the catches or he had that touchdown.
Yeah, making a big play out of it.
And he's taking advantage of his opportunities. And Deontay Johnson, I know for a fact, he caught the pass in was their last game?
Yeah, it's probably the last game. Definitely didn't catch something yesterday.
He caught that, but he didn't make it to the sideline, which is what he needed to do.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to the sideline. And then another one he just didn't catch. So I'm not even feeling like right now he's looking real. He's not looking like the Deontay Johnson everybody remembers.
Yeah, I just think that for a player like him, obviously, like you like that new dude in school, you're trying to impress. But it ain't, you're trying hard, bro, but it's just not happening right now. So you gotta make life easy. You gotta keep it simple.
But the Ravens got beginning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you good. Go ahead. You good.
No, I was just gonna say, but from the beginning, that was a trade where I felt like it was more of like insurance, it was like more depth. But it's kind of like also if you have them, fit them in somehow.
Yeah. Look, you can cut me off. I'm here to highlight you. I have no podcast. All right. I got no podcast. Don't wait. You got. All right. Let's keep this all in 100. All right. So I'm gonna read another comment from Pops. He said, "I think he found the recipe to beat the Chiefs. He knows he's gonna have to use them legs, but against the Steelers, it's worse. So he looks scared and panics. He needs to figure the Steelers out. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Steelers definitely have given him issues, right? So you've seen him enough times, and also the Steelers, they got dudes on defense, man. They got dudes on defense, but I do think he's gonna. I'll say this much: people need to not panic. Let's see how the Steelers react to this team in Baltimore. It's hard to win one on the road, man. Everything has, and especially when you're like Carita mentioned, when you have so many penalties, you have turnovers. Like it is hard to win football games on the road, especially against the Pittsburgh Steelers team. So I feel like let's see how it is in Baltimore. You have a different environment. The crowd isn't yelling in your ear. It's more conducive to an offensive team playing at home. Let's just see how they respond when the Steelers come to Baltimore.
Yeah, but I will say this: offensively, Pat McCarry, I think he's leading like the penalties on offense. I'm not really understanding because he's one of the veteran guys. Like this is not his first year, so I don't know if that has something to do with because he's more of a rotational piece in that offense. But I don't know if that has to do with the position he's playing. I don't know what that's about, but I think he definitely needs to correct that.
Yeah. When your team gets a bunch of penalties, you got to preach discipline. Just got to be disciplined. That's just what it is. Like a Coach Bill Belichick team, I'm gonna use him as an example because that's what he was all about, discipline. Penalties weren't taken. He did not take that crap. So you got penalized individually. You got penalized for like being that type of player. So
I believe it was penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Penalties, or was it turnovers? There was something in training camp where they would go jog if it happened. They would go do a lap.
Okay.
So, but I think what's hard for me, and I'm not a player on the field, so I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how you just get all these penalties week after week after week. Like this is what killed them in that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
But I gave it a pass because you're dealing with a new offensive line at that time. And there was some the offsides. It was like a new rule or something with the formation.
Oh yeah, got you.
There was something going on with that.
Kickoffs? You talking about the kickoffs? Or you talking about the O-line? Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it was still was bad, but I'm like, all right, But as the weeks have gone on, this has not gotten better.
No,
and that if you're in the playoffs,
that's the thing.
And you are doing that, that's a problem. That's going to be a huge problem. And everything gets more intense in the playoffs.
I agree. Speaking my man Lenny said the Ravens struggle against a very physical defensive line that can get pressure with 4. The offensive line is very inconsistent, but Lamar covers up their flaws. Yeah, Lamar.
Covers up a lot of people's flaws.
Yeah, he does though. It's the truth. Even receivers who don't get open, he stalls enough time to make you look good. Lamar is he's one of them, man. I mean, I every week I compliment Lamar. I'll compliment Lamar even when he struggles. I ain't gonna hold you. So I'm one of them people. So y'all can already say what you want to say about me. I'm that person. All right, speaking of another new Baltimore Raven, Tre'Davious White got some action. You know what I mean? I saw your comments about him. You know what I mean? I saw your comments about him. But I want you to say it out here, man. How did you think he looked, man? Did he look like he belongs here?
I loved it.
Okay,
cool. Like that's what you're supposed to do. He took advantage of his opportunities. He had 2 key pass breakups. He broke up 2 potential touchdowns.
Yeah.
He broke both of those up. He just and cleanly, no penalties. Yeah. So I liked it. I said the defense, I said the secondary needed a spark, and I felt like he did give him a spark. But also, Coach Harbaugh talked about how he made some changes. They made some changes on the back end with Kyle Hamilton playing more deep safety, and then they put
I like that.
Ardarius Washington. They replaced Marcus Williams, I should say, with Ardarius Washington, and that seemed to work pretty well. And he definitively said that'll be the formula going forward.
I like that. I think Hamilton's awesome in the line of scrimmage, but I do think that with the way the secondary is going, they need him back out there to kind of survey the back end of the secondary, because I feel like I like that adjustment. That's a good adjustment. You know what I mean? But
it seemed to work, and then the addition of Tre'Davious White.
So who's Burn got? Who's Burn? Stevens. What's my guy?
He ate into some of Brandon Stevens' snaps.
Okay. Stevens about to get
not terribly, but I want to say Brandon Stevens had been like taking 90-ish%.
Yeah.
It was more like 79 against the Steelers, if I remember correctly from the stats.
Yeah. Are you talking? Hold on, I'm reading this. Don, he said send him to Chinatown. You talking about
listen, the fans
Deontay Johnson?
No, they're talking. I think they might be talking about Brandon Stevens. Are you talking about Brandon Stevens?
Is it Brandon Stevens or Deontay Johnson? Let me know, man. I know we talked earlier. I'm not sure it was Deontay. He said B Steve. He said B Steve first. No, B Steve. Who's B Steve?
That's Brandon Stevens.
Oh, it is Brandon Stevens. Oh shoot, dang.
I'm trying to tell you, the fans.
My bad, bro.
The fans are not too happy with Brandon Stevens these days.
Hey, that's how we doing, Brandon Stevens. Y'all don't like my dude no more. Dang, I ain't gonna lie though. He do. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm definitely benching him for Tre'Davious though. I'm definitely benching for Tre'Davious. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So they like him over. So okay. I mean, Wiggins. We had this discussion though. It's gonna be hard to like. Wiggins is the young boy. You drafted him. You expect him to be a guy that's gonna be part of the future. So it would be hard to bench a young dude that you drafted to be part of the future, right?
Wiggins wasn't much of a factor on Sunday, was he?
Yeah, right. That means good. That's a good thing. You ain't hear his name.
I mean, that's true too.
That's a good thing.
That's true.
When you hear a cornerback name, that means somebody catching the ball or you making a play. If you ain't hear him at all, that means you did a good job.
Didn't.
That's what's up, man. Good for Wiggins. We didn't hear his name. That means you did a good job. Good for Wiggins, man. Let's speak of another cornerback, man. Desmond King. I used to love Desmond King. I believe Desmond King went to Iowa in college. I want to say he went to Iowa. I used to watch him a lot in college. Desmond King, he signed to the Ravens practice squad. Your thoughts on the signing of having another he used to be a quality cornerback, another cornerback on this roster?
You know, that's where most of the issues have been this season, with the exception of Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the issues have been in the secondary, and I think it's been clear that they needed some help back there, but you can only do so much. People got to be available, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to get Tre'Davious White, and clearly they were able to sign King to the practice squad. I think the more the merrier at this point, because if they do get to the playoffs, it was going to be a situation where the defense may have been an issue.
True. Nah, I hear you. No, I hear you. I do think that I like this. Yeah, signing him, just like you said about Deontay Johnson, it's good to have like that type of player for depth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. And folks, I want to just add this too. If you're on YouTube, hey, subscribe to either channel right now. Whatever channel you're on right now, subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. Also like the video. It does great for our algorithms in terms of you like the video. So for the Baltimore Ravens search engine on algorithm on YouTube, make sure you like it and also subscribe to whatever channel you're on. But yeah, I'm with you. Like I think in terms of depth, it's a good sign. Again, he went to Iowa, so I was right about that. He went to Iowa, and he was a playmaking cornerback in the day as a collegiate player. He was okay in the league. He was a starter, so it's always good to have a former starter out there for depth. You know what I mean? Just in case somebody goes down or someone struggles. Pops
they're already down Arthur Mallette.
Yeah.
Again, so.
My man Pops has a couple more comments. We're going to jet out soon. Pops said, I also want to say no head coach or QB tandem that hasn't won a Super Bowl, and they in their first 5 years have never won a Super Bowl. If we don't go and wins this year, Harbaugh got to go. We need something. Yo, people want. It's wild. There's some people do want Harbaugh out of here. I think you said this before.
The fans.
Look at your face. Look at your face. Look at your face.
When the fans get mad, they be ready to ship Harbaugh out.
They do want him out.
In all fairness, and I don't mean this to be. I really tried to think about this. I'm like, okay, if you did, like, if they did move on from Harbaugh, I'm like, who is out there that is?
I don't know, man.
Good though, you know.
Yeah, I always tell folks, man, be careful what you ask for. You know, everybody thinks the grass is always green on the other side. Like, I'm like,
at this point, I mean, look at all these teams who got these new coaches. I'm not saying no one has, but I can't think off the top of my head.
Only his brother.
Ryan did pretty good. Who else?
His brother's doing good.
Well, yeah.
His brother.
But he's been in the NFL before, exactly. So.
Let's see. He got? Come on, man. Pops got a cut for you, man. I see Pops. You went to smoke. You got a couple things out here. I got you. It's been 7 years already, so this is the last year. His message is old, getting stale now, and not working because the same thing happens with this team every year, and we're undisciplined for years now. We have been undisciplined this year. Mm-hmm. I will say that with the penalties, that is true. It's been happening since Flacco. He just got bailed out by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed because I'm 2012. They didn't because in 2012, because in 2012 they didn't like Harbaugh. They told him don't coach no more. They got it. He wants the reason. All right. I think I get the gist of it though. I get the gist of it. He almost blew that lead in the Super Bowl too, so he's the problem. Bro, I can tell you don't like John Harbaugh. Okay, I get it. Okay. You don't like John. I mean, I get you want to. I know what? I'll say this, man. I will say this for fans. I know fans who won the Super Bowl, so they kind of have this thought process. You get used to something, or you want to see it happen again. you want to be there again. You know what I mean? You want to win it, and you feel like you have the team to do it. So you get frustrated when you fall short. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand. But I will say this, what Carita and I were talking about, like, if you hit on the next coach, great. If you do let it go and you hit on the next coach, it's great. But it can also go left. You know what I mean? And y'all don't think you want it to go left.
Place for years, because listen, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I've seen this with the Jaguars. They have not been able to really hit on a coach since Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, so it can go left, man. Like if you hit it right, I don't mean it that way. Yeah, if you get it right, it's all good.
But I mean, I don't want to see Lamar's good talent go to waste. So I don't know what the answer is as far as that's concerned, but he's definitely a Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
True.
And he deserves to be there.
Yeah, hopefully this is the year. So before we end off, I like to do things on a positive tip. Who were some of the bright spots, or what were some of the bright spots on Sunday?
Most of my bright spots. Okay, let me stop. Yeah. Well, most of my bright spots are on defense.
Gotcha.
So I got to give them their flowers, because, like I said, it's been rough. It's been a rough year. Not so much for the defense front as much. They've had their days, but I feel like this, to me, was maybe the first game all season where the entire defense was clicking on all cylinders. Like the pass rush, they were getting to Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Russell didn't have much, like he didn't have a lot of success. This game was not won off of Russell Wilson. He did enough, but this game wasn't won off of Russell Wilson. The pass rush was good. The secondary, they did not get sliced and diced. And so, but Marlon Humphrey, got to give Marlon Humphrey his flowers, because he got a pick. I still Tre'Davious White, because those two pass breakups could have very easily been touchdowns. And in a game where the Ravens just were not clicking, those could have both been daggers.
Yep.
So loved him, and especially just for him, that being his first game, to just come out and be a dog like that. I loved it.
Oh yeah, go ahead, keep going.
And Ardarius Washington, I'm just happy for him. He got kind of upgrade, so to speak.
Yep.
And I actually talked to him. I did one of my one-on-ones with him last week, and I asked him how he felt about his season. He was kind of like, I've done some good things, but I made some mistakes, so I feel like it's okay so far. Mm-hmm. And he said he wanted to get more picks and also have better communicate. And this was all before Sunday, so I don't know if he knew about the change or not.
Yeah.
When we talked. But I say all that to say he worked his way into an expanded role on the defense. And I think that is, and he played well.
Yeah.
Along with Kyle Hamilton, who I just love how Kyle Hamilton plays. I say he is one of the nicest guys, and he is. He was the media good guy last year, because he was always talking to the media. But when he on the field, he's like a whole different person. And I'm like, okay, anyway, a lot of flowers for the defense from me. And I will give Zay flowers. Right spot, because prior to that touchdown, the ball
drop
in the face or the helmet or whatnot, and it was a drop. And he shook that off, came right back, got that touchdown.
Yeah, I think Zay definitely, he bounced back. I agree with you. I'm surprised you ain't throw no flowers to my Nigerian brother. You know what I'm saying? My Nigerian brother, Owe.
Well, yes. I didn't call him out, but I meant the entire defense.
Oh, I know. I'm Nigerian. I got those. Come on.
But you're right, though. You're right. He had, I believe, was it a career high?
He had 2.5 sacks. I know he had 2.5 sacks.
Or he just added to his sack numbers. But either way, he's been showing up, because people coming into this season were doubting him.
Yeah.
And he's definitely, I don't know what his total sack number is at the moment, but he's leading, I think. I think he's leading the team in sacks.
Yeah, my Nigerian brother. Oh, you Nigerian? I can't tell. Are you? I can't tell. If you're Nigerian, holler at me. I can't. I don't know what that. I'm not good with acronyms. I don't know. And I'm not sure if that's like a profanity word. I can't tell you. I'm not gonna put it in the chat. I don't know if it's profanity or not. I'm not good with like new age stuff. So if that's a sign for Nigeria. You Nigerian, yes. Pops is Nigerian. My man. Yes, that's not Niger.
Oh,
Nigerian. Yeah.
You know
my
what?
man.
He was going off. Cause
He Nigerian. Exactly. He got the Nigerian temper. That's what I'm saying. Our temperament. We people. That's how we go. We emotional, man.
That is so funny.
I love it. I love it. Here, Don said, "I love the Ravens, man, but that 2-point conversion is the worst thing since liver and gravy."
He said what?
He said, "I love the Ravens, man, but that 2-point conversion is the worst thing since liver and gravy."
Yeah, I didn't like that. We didn't.
We talked about it. We hated. I hated that 2-point. I hated that play call. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wasn't my favorite play.
Yeah, it was not our favorite whatsoever. All right, Carita, man, before we end this show, how can folks catch you on social media and also catch your content?
Yes. So I'm sorry. I wanted to see how many sacks.
Go ahead.
He has 7 sacks on the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
Oh shoot. Okay.
You can catch me at Carita C. Parks on all social media platforms. Also, all my Ravens content is on Bowie TV Sports. That's at Bowie TV Sports on all platforms. And then, of course, I'm the founder of Double Take Sports, covering the WNBA, NBA, and I do just some general NFL. So follow that at Double Take Sports at DBL Take Sports.
Thank you. Hey, this is for Carita, man. So I would love y'all collab with other Ravens YouTubers. I could tell y'all a few y'all could check out and get the opinions and stuff. All right.
The other Ravens YouTubers, that's all good. But some people know about me.
They know about that. Of course, why they wouldn't know? They know about you. They know. Yeah.
They asked me to be on their show.
They haven't. My man's asking though. He already asking though.
He need to tell them.
Oh well, they about to. That's what we doing right now.
Let them know, Pop.
Yeah, Pop. Let them know about like Carita being she being the be more. She a reporter. She in there. She going to LA
on site.
She on site. Not them little. I'm just at the game chilling, taking selfies. She actually there. She in the press. He's like, all right. So look, we gotta. You know what I'm saying? So you see. All right. So Pop, you see this? You see the X handle right now, right? You already know what time it is, bro. I'm gonna give you time to let that marinate. Hit her up. Boom. I'm a podcaster for the Ravens, and I do Ravens stuff. But I do a bunch of Commander stuff. I can hold you. I'm a Commander, so I do a bunch of Commander stuff. But I cover everything, man. I love the area football teams. So I'm that type of person. You know what I'm saying? But Pops, yeah, man. Pull up to Carita. You know what time it is. Pull up.
Thanks. How did you find us, by the way?
I mean, it's probably that's a good question. I did a lot of. I want to know how
you found us. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's true. Pops, how you find us? Don't blame. Don't say it was me. Yeah, Pops, how did you find us? I mean, I'm giving you time.
Where is Pops? I know you ain't dip out.
Nah, he on YouTube right now, man. He still. He saw on YouTube. I just saw y'all on YouTube. All right, thanks, man. Okay. Appreciate you, Pop, man.
Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
I was looking for Ravens content. All right, it happened.
Awesome.
I'm talking about.
You got to know how people find you.
You know what, Carita? You're right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, Pops. Look at man. Thank you, man.
Pop. We appreciate you tuning in.
Appreciate you, Pops, man. All right, we about to end it, Pops, because I got stuff to do. I still got to hit the gym. I ain't gonna hold you, Pops. I'm trying to motivate myself, man. It's just trying to. All right, before we end this show out, hey, make sure you tune into our Ravens Chargers pregame show. We able to do on Monday? You do a pregame show on Monday? All right, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for Carita, that'd be 4 o'clock West Coast time. I know
that
this.
Monday's probably gonna be a little rough.
I'm letting you know now.
Gonna be rough.
That's why I let you know.
Woo!
I'm trying to let you know. Hey, it'll be streaming live on our YouTube, X, IG, and Facebook accounts. And also be streaming on the Bowie TV YouTube channel as well. Yeah, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG at Urban Sports Scene, and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene. Like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page as well. Make sure you subscribe to the Bowie TV and Urban Sports and YouTube channels right now. If you're on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button. like this video, like Pops, he found this, so that means people have been liking videos. So like this video as well. That's great for the algorithm, especially for Baltimore Ravens coverage. So make sure you like our video. Also, you check out the Urban Sports Scene website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Oh man, thanks. Appreciate you, man. Got you. Look. Thanks, Don, man. Appreciate you. Pops, man. Good night, man. Appreciate you too as well.
Good night.
Good night, bro. Anyway, man, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. We are out.
Peace.